Hey guys, welcome back to the Pod Sound School podcast. I am Studio Steve and I'm here with the lovely Veronica.
Hello, mis amigos.
Today is a very important episode. If you've been tuning in for the last couple of episodes, we have reached out and attracted a bunch of new listeners. We want to say hey to everyone who has subscribed to us on Overcast. Thanks so much, you guys. We love Overcast and we love all our listeners over there. So what's this episode about today, Veronica?
What are your goals for your podcast? Or what are your podcasting goals? So the last two episodes, we talked to you about the benefits of having a podcast. I hope we got you convinced that you should start one. And then we walked you through the 11 steps of how to start a podcast so you're good to go. What we have not talked to you about yet is the importance of having clear goals and expectations before you enter the podcasting world and the world of content creation. Having clear goals will help you determine how much money, time, and effort you will have to dedicate to your project. Also, having clear and realistic expectations for your show will avoid you getting into disappointment territory and also to enjoy and celebrate your successes as you go. According to whatpods.com, it is estimated that over 40% of podcast hosts don't make it past 10 episodes.
So that's almost half of the people who get into podcasting.
Yes.
They don't make it into the double digits.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And this is a concern to us because we want you to succeed and experience the real rewards and benefits of podcasting. So far, we have given you the practical and technical tools you need to have a successful show, like show planning, production, content ideas, promotion, and launching strategies. But today, we're going to talk about the mindset and the emotional journey you have to be prepared for when you enter the world of podcasting. So it is my hope that at the end of this episode, you are clear with your goals and are ready to take action. With that being said, your podcast goals may change, evolve, and grow as you progress in your podcasting journey. And you will have us all along, giving you pats in the back, giving you encouragement, holding your hand, giving you the tools you need. Anything. You call me, you contact me, and I'll be there for you.
We will. The map will come and be there for you.
Yes.
And before we hop into the episode, I'd just love to invite you guys over to our Facebook group. It's called Podcasting for Bosses. It's a great place to mingle with other podcasters, people who are interested in podcasting. We're really trying to grow our community over there. So come and say hi to us over there. We'll leave a link in this episode's description. Come and also hit us up on Instagram.
Yes.
Come follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. So if you're listening to the show, stop what you're doing. You don't need to pause the episode because you can still listen to the audio. If you're driving, then you're going to have to pull over. And follow me on Instagram at Pod Sound School.
Please. Let's get into the episode. What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Let's do it.
What are your goals for podcasting?
And we are going to break it down into four main considerations. And the first one, number one, is your goals will determine how much time you will put into growing your show. Podcasting takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, and it also takes a little bit of money. So the question, I think, when you're thinking about your goals is, how long do you plan on being a podcaster? Are you in it for the long haul? Also, we have an episode, The Time It Takes to Podcast. We actually did a poll with 100 different podcasters, and they told us the time it takes and the bottlenecks and everything of their process. And it's about 4 to 5 hours-ish, at least, that you're going to need to put into your podcast every week. And so that's a tremendous commitment. And like Veronica said in the intro, only half the people who get started podcasting make it past the 10th episode. And I think that's why.
If podcasting is important for you, if growing your show is important for you, then you will dedicate that time to grow, nurture, and invest in your show so it gets to places. If, for example, your goal isn't, you just want to have a podcast to mingle with your friends, to share some kind of interest, but you're not really interested in growing your audience, you're not interested in sharing your podcast beyond your circle of friends, then you're not going to have to spend as much time in producing, making a good product, promoting, and spending time planning and all that comes with podcasting.
Yeah,
so
and
this is why it's so important to have your goal set up from the beginning.
Yeah, so I think that's a perfect example of a goal. You want to start podcasting to nourish relationships, to get involved with your friends. Well, then you don't have as much skin in the game, and human nature. It's like, what is this worth to me? And that's a perfect example of why you wouldn't make it past 10 episodes. Because you're not going to show up as much on social media because it's not as important to you. You're not going to ever accept social events or public speaking events or anything. And you'll probably be more lenient with skipping out on episodes until it's very easy to imagine how you would just dwindle off of the podcast train and never really get anywhere with it.
Yeah, it's going to start taking a toll on you because chances are you're editing. And that takes a lot of time. And if you talked for 2 hours with your friends, then somebody's going to have to edit that.
Yeah.
Or publish it the way it is. So just think about it. On the other hand, if your podcast goals are promoting your business, if your podcast goals are promoting your brand, promoting your coaching business, promoting your book release, or if you want to promote yourself, if you want to promote your passion, your art, and you're committed to it, then the time that you will have to spend on it is going to have to be more than just an hour or two that you meet with your friends and record the podcast.
Yeah, and we'll repeat this again probably a couple times on this episode. We're not trying to discourage you from podcasting.
No.
And everyone is welcome into podcasting. What we're trying to do instead is encourage you to take yourself seriously and to really think that you're cool and give your podcast the time that it deserves.
Yeah. And if you think about it, we make room for the things that matter to us, the things that we love doing during the day. If we love watching the latest season of Stranger Things, then we're going to spend time doing that.
Yeah.
If we have our goals set up and we want to achieve things, then we're going to be spending our time in growing and creating a podcast.
Agreed. That's interesting. I do a Scottish accent and then you come up with
Whatever I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm not good with accents.
I'm not good at, my Scottish accent is horrible.
I can say number two.
Your goals will determine how much money you will have to invest.
I like that accent a lot.
I don't know what.
Me neither. It's very mixed, but you travel a lot.
I guess.
She's been to very many different countries,
Colombia, that's it.
The second consideration here with goals is how your goals are going to determine how much money you're going to invest. So a really good analogy we like for this is trying to get in shape. The best way to do that, the quickest way to do that, maybe years and years after trying and
failing diet after diet.
It's like, okay, it's a holiday season. It's that time for those New Year's resolutions around the corner again, right? So this year we're going to get a gym membership and we're going to pay $500, $600, $1,000 to a personal trainer. And then again, with that same thing with the money, are we going to continue with the personal trainer afterwards? Are we going to follow through with our goals? Are we just going to go on a diet and lose 50 pounds and then gain it all back again after the halfway mark of the year? Like we have year and year, before. It's a wonderful analogy. And it's the same with podcasting.
Yeah.
What are your intentions? What are your goals?
So do you want to go all in and achieve the body of your dreams?
Let's talk about what kind of money you're going to have to invest.
Yes.
So the first place that you'll spend money is on your gear. That's the obvious one, right? You're going to have to buy a microphone, an audio interface, determine if you're going to use a paid DAW, plugins, pop filters, mic stands, cables, headphones, and even room treatment. And that's if you're taking yourself seriously. That's depending on your goals. Now, if you're not taking yourself very seriously, you just want to dip your toes in and test out the podcasting waters, then maybe you don't need to spend any money and you can just use your phone and get a lower quality podcast that people aren't going to take as seriously. people are going to listen to and then maybe turn away from, and it's not going to be easy for you to attract followers.
So, and I have something to say about that. I just think that you either have to go all in or not even try it.
Yeah.
Because, that's why there are systems in place, and that's why you do market research, you do competitor analysis, and you do so when you get to sit down and record, you are already 90% sure that you're going to have listeners for your podcast. So you either go in or not do the tippy-toe thing, because after a while, then you're going to just give up on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just do it. Try it.
Take the risks, jump in and do
And
it.
then same with the money. It just drives me insane that there's some people that have goals for their podcast that know that they're going to either expand their networking, that they're going to create revenue from their podcast, that they're going to bring more clients, that they're going to grow their community and their following, and they're still are very cheap with investing in equipment, with investing in coaching, with investing in all the things that will guarantee your success in podcasting.
Yeah, your success in podcast. And, there's that old expression, it takes money to make money. And
it does.
It's
And you're
true.
investing in your business.
And there's certain quality you have
I
to
can
invest.
totally understand if you're doing it for a hobby. And there's some people that spend a lot of money in their hobbies.
Tons of money. More, and I know a lot of podcasters even who spend more money on their other hobbies, like model airplanes or video games.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to go spend a few $100s on your video games, you can spend a few $100s on your podcasting equipment. And the good news here, and we're going to continue talking about the other things you're going to spend money on, but the good news is it's relatively inexpensive, actually. To actually compete on a professional level. So it's not a big
You have
investment.
to think about your podcast as a business. That we've been saying it all along. Just get serious with your podcast and look at it as a business.
Yeah.
And if you're a business owner using your podcast to promote your business, just have that in mind, that your podcast is a reflection of your brand and business.
Yeah.
It's going to show the quality of your work. It's going to show the seriousness of your business. So you just have to invest
You have to invest.
and make and put out a good product.
So we've got our gear, right? That's the obvious thing we're going to have to spend money on. The other thing is there's memberships and subscriptions, like your website, your web host, email marketing services, Canva Pro, Adobe Creative Cloud if you're going to go the Adobe route, remote recording solutions if you're doing remote recording like Squadcast, Zencaster. And then you may also want to invest some money in some minor video equipment.
Yeah.
Like-
We're just seeing lately with our podskis and clients, we're seeing the necessity of complementing their podcast with video.
With video,
With showing up on social media and showing their faces and inviting people to listen to their podcast, and just that one-on-one contact with people like only a video can achieve.
The other thing about why you might want to consider video, and we're sort of getting a little off topic here, is just that it really helps. It's very easy and an immediate way to repurpose your podcast into content, because you're already there podcasting. You may as well make some video clips of it. But it's also a very effective way to find new listeners to your show. So
yeah, depending on your goals.
Depending on your goals.
That's how much your investment is going to be.
That's how much money you'll invest. Now, something I meant to say on the previous point, which is the time that you're going to put into your show. There's a lot of ways that you can save time, because your time is very valuable. And one of the ways that you can save time is to delegate the responsibilities of your show to your co-host or to your friends or anybody who's willing to help you grow your show. Make sure they're a very supportive person who believe in your project, however. And the other way you can save time is to spend more money. And you can spend more money by outsourcing some of the process. The biggest bottleneck that I think that's involved with the podcasting is the editing. It takes so much time to edit, specifically too, because you have to educate yourself on how to do it to begin with too. So you can outsource your editing, and there's tons of services popping up, new services popping up every day, including ours. We just barely started providing podcast editing service for our podskis. So if you're interested, find us at podsoundschool.com and you'll see our services there. But then the other thing you can outsource is social media support. You can have somebody manage your social accounts for you. And that's where you can really start to see big results and attract a ton of new listeners because you have somebody spending 5 hours, 10 hours a week pushing you on a social platform that you don't have time nor the experience. Because these social platforms too, they're not as easy as just hopping on and tweeting and retweeting or on Instagram. Like they take a lot of learning and education and playing by the rules of the platform and all that too. So again, a lot of investment. And now with each one of these goals, we're getting into, okay, well now, not only is it going to take me a tremendous amount of time, but if I want to receive all of the real benefits of podcasting, it's going to take some money. You could do it on the cheap and not sacrifice your quality, but you're going to need to educate yourself on how to do that. So I don't know. What do you say, Veronica? Should we move on to the next item of consideration here?
Yeah.
Okay.
With my accent.
Number 3, your goals will determine how much effort you will have to put on your show.
Number 3. We got to figure out what that accent is.
So effort. Commitment. Going back to our analogy, our getting in shape analogy.
I like to differentiate between effort and time because when I first think about it, I'm like, well, effort and time, they're kind of the same thing. But they're not. Like you pay the money and you go to the gym and you're there 5 days a week. That's the money and the time. Are you going to be on the elliptica?
But then while you're there, are you going to half-ass?
It's all about the effort. And this, again, goes with your goals. You're not going to put a lot of effort into it. And also your co-hosts, other people that are involved, they're not going to put as much effort into it. If your goal is to just get together with friends, if your goal is just to be a hobbyist with podcasting. Now, just like we said, we're not discouraging you. We're also not discouraging hobbyists or people with this goal. We're just differentiating between the different goals.
Yeah, we want you to have that clear before you start your show.
Before you start your podcast.
And get real. Get real with your co-host. Get real with yourself. What do I want out of my podcast?
And then with the effort, you're going to need education. And you're going to have to really be an autodidactic and go out there like crazy, especially if you don't have it in your budget to outsource. Then you're going to have to get really good at editing. You're going to have to get really good at a couple different social media platforms, especially if you're a one-woman show. You're going to have to do that. And then preparation and planning. There's a lot of effort that goes into preparation and planning. Then there's also research, there's dedication and perseverance, all of that. I think you get the idea there, right? And this kind of gets into number 4, which is...
Number 4, your goals will determine how much you will be willing to grow professionally and personally.
I like it. I like it a lot. You can see now at this point that the more we evaluate this time and this money and the effort involved in having a successful podcast, it's very apparent now why so many people don't make it past episode 10, right? And once again, it is not our intention to discourage you from starting podcasting. It's quite the opposite. We want to encourage you to start it, and we want you to start podcasting by taking yourself seriously and by setting big goals. Also, when these things start to become a reality, people in your life will likely discourage you. It happens all the time. Sometimes the people closest to us are going to discourage you from it. They'll tell you things like that you'll never make money podcasting, that you don't have the time or the money it takes, or that you don't have like the resolve to keep going. Oh, this is going to be another one of your hobbies, Jim, And it's not that the people in our lives do this because they don't care about us or, they don't have our best intentions in their mind. It's because with humans, we all are very insecure and we're all filled with all these fears, right? And so they're almost trying to protect you because they themselves probably couldn't imagine being vulnerable to the world as a podcaster, being out there on the interwebs.
Because you will be.
Yeah, because you're going to be vulnerable.
So it comes down to, and I read this in one of our books that we've been reading lately. You are laying on a bed and you are 80, 90 years old and these are your last moments. Like, what do you regret not doing when you were young? So have that conversation with your 90-year-old, 80-year-old person. And, okay, these are the things that I regret not doing when I had the opportunity, the energy, the youth, and the desire to do them. I listened to other people. I allowed other people to discourage me from doing the things that I wanted to do and just do it.
on that point too, and shout out to Marie Forleo.
Oh, yeah, Marie
Yeah.
Forleo. Oh, yeah, that's her book.
And on that topic too, I think that there's a reason that you're interested in starting a podcast. There's a reason that you're listening to this episode, and it's probably because there's this voice inside you, and it's this whisper that's telling you, oh, I want to start a podcast. Oh, that sounds really fun. And it's because you have a voice, you have something special to share, you have a business that needs the extra promotion, you have a product that you really want to get out there.
You have a story.
You have a story to tell. There's something, and the world needs you. The world desperately needs more creative people, more stories, more people that believe in themselves and take risks and just go out there and put themselves despite what the people in their life say. So this is definitely a big risk and a big responsibility. And there are smart ways that you can do it where you don't have to, go bankrupt or take a second mortgage out on your house. It's not like, you're trying to come up with $5 million to produce an indie movie or anything. It's a low risk, actually, when it comes to a creative endeavor.
And I can tell you, my podcasting journey has been such a great experience for me. Just the fact that I get to sit down every week here and talk to people, and that people are receptive to what I say. That is so amazing to me. Because think about it, you go to a social event, you go to school, and like, how long can you have somebody's attention? How long can you hold that attention? You just introduce yourself and they're gone. Like, you just get a few sentences in and they're not interested anymore because there's just so many distractors. With this, I know that right here, I'm talking directly to you. I'm talking directly into your ear, and I'm going to be held accountable for the things I am teaching you. And that is motivating me to be a better teacher, to do my job, to do my research, and to come and give you the best that I've learned and the best of my experience. And that's why podcasting is so powerful, because you don't only get the skills that you can apply professionally, because it's teaching me how to network. It's teaching me how to be fluent and be articulate and stand out and have a voice and have my opinions and communicate those in a understandable and articulate way. It's also helping me to overcome my fears, my insecurities, to think about other people beside myself. Every single week, I'm thinking about what can I do to make somebody else's life better? How can I teach this in a way that is more understandable? How can I help this person with social media? How can I help this person to develop an idea for their podcast? How can I empower? So that's my podcasting journey. I'm sorry, I've been talking for too long.
No, that's great. I like when you get passionate.
Okay.
Because that's the thing. This is a place for us to share our passions and share what we believe in, and this is a place where you can have your voice be heard. So definitely don't apologize for that.
Okay.
Yeah. With this, there is a return on your investment. There's a return on your investment when it comes to the time and the money. And you'll expand your network, you'll build authority, you'll get more exposure, you'll get more sales, you'll grow your community. And you just have to stay consistent. You have to set realistic goals, schedule your goals, and don't say that you don't have the time, that you don't have the money, that you don't know how, because if you want something, you'll find the time, you'll find the money.
You'll figure it out.
How. Yeah, you'll figure it out. So commit yourself. It's been real, everyone, and thank you so much for everyone who tuned in.
Thank you so much. If you want to support us, remember we have a Patreon.
And you can find us at patreon.com/podsoundschool. Come check out what we've got going on over there. And
so sit down and work on those goals.
Yes.
And work, invest, and put the effort accordingly.
Yes. And until next time, happy casting,
Happy
everyone.
casting.
Working from valuable learning experiences. Interest in work for which learners see a purpose provides its own discipline.